Bada bing, bada boom. Social Inform Media.
This story comes to us from CNN.com. And many of you know by now that there was a protest in the ATL over the police shooting in Atlanta. And so there's a story that comes out of it. Always a story that comes out of a protest, right? But police have released the charges for 6 people who were arrested Saturday evening in downtown Atlanta during the protest that came in response to a proposed training facility. It's called Cop City. And the fatal police shooting of an activist. Now, this is the Cop City incident, they're saying. They each face 4 felony charges: domestic terrorism, arson in the first degree, criminal damage in the second degree, and interference with government property, according to the police. So these 6 people, they're looking at domestic terrorism. I don't know, were they burning? I know they did burn a police car. Maybe that's one of these people. They were burning buildings. To me, that's not a protest. I guess it is. That's not a protest. I don't know. I guess protest is fluid. It could be pretty much anything. But I mean, I don't know, burning buildings and blowing up cars, and just go out there with your signs and your cameras and protest. I digress. Each of the suspects, who range from 20 to 37 years old, also facing 4 misdemeanor charges, including unlawful assembly. I always love that one. When you're peacefully protesting, and just because these people are acting up, these people who are exercising their First Amendment, it's like, you are in an unlawful assembly. You no longer have rights. You must leave. Welcome to America. Just because they're being unlawful, you lose your Bill of Rights. It's like one YouTuber says, goose step, goose step, goose step, goose step. But one of the arrested protesters is from Georgia, according to the police. The others are from Tennessee, Washington, Maine, and Michigan. Wow, they came a long way just to protest. They came in response to a planned $90 million 85-acre law enforcement training facility dubbed Cop City. And just days after the police killing of 26-year-old activist Manuel Esteban Paez Terán near the site of the training center. They reported that earlier Sunday, the Atlanta mayor Andre Dickens said none of the arrested protesters were from Georgia. He was speaking about the protest Sunday morning on CBS's Face the Nation alongside mayors from other cities. And he said none of them were from Georgia, but they just said one of the arrested is from Georgia. I don't know, is the news right or is the mayor right? I don't believe the mayor. Now, Dickens was among the city council members who voted in favor of Cop City, or this training center, in 2021. He added, it was peaceful, but there were some individuals within that crowd that meant violence. Most of them traveled into our city to wreak havoc. We love to support people when they're doing right. Peaceful protests are part of the American freedoms. But when you are violent, we will make sure that you get held accountable. What happens is when people are violent, everybody loses their rights. Welcome to America. You know what I mean? Don't punish those that are breaking the law. Punish everybody, even those who are peaceful, law-abiding citizens exercising their... Well, no, there are no rights. This is now an unlawful assembly. Why? Because we can say so. Screw the Constitution. They're acting up. I know I'm going to get flack for that. Quack, quack, flack. Flack. No, CNN is working to reach out to those arrested. And then it goes down, it talks about the protest in and of itself. It's a pretty lengthy story if you want to go and read it. But they're saying that they spotted an individual in a tent in the woods and gave verbal commands, but the individual allegedly did not comply and shot a Georgia state trooper, according to the news release. Officers returned fire and fatally wounded the individual, who ended up being Esteban. And his mother also weighed in and said she feels angry and powerless. The authorities will not identify the state trooper. And so there you go. It goes down. And then, of course, they had the protest where 6 people were arrested. And I did see part of that protest where they were burning the police car and whatnot. And crazy times. And I'm surprised and maybe somewhat satisfied that the U.S. didn't come apart over the arrest of the 5 Memphis Tyler D. Nichols story. I mean, I was thinking, when I saw that they were going to release the video on Friday, I was like, uh-oh, look out. This weekend, they're going to burn everything. And they dodged one on that one. So I was surprised they didn't come apart on that one. But it's coming. It's coming because people are getting tired of this. Keenan Anderson, Tyre D. Nichols, Esteban. And we can keep going back. George Floyd, Elijah McClain, Andre Hill, Breonna Taylor. Should I keep going? And don't forget, because the movie is out now, Emmett Till. Look up Emmett Till. It just doesn't stop, guys. Just doesn't stop.